Stevens Pass is more than just a mountain or a collection of skiers and riders. It's a community built on a legacy of deeply rooted passion and an unwavering love for the outdoors. Those who share this beautiful place also call it home, and they see one another as family as they share this mountain. This is the place where thrill seekers come for a daily dose of adrenaline, where kids learn to make their first turns, and where people go to shake off the 9-to-5 grind. Generations of memories have been made at Stevens Pass, and generations more will follow. It hasn't always been easy for the community that is Stevens Pass, but that's part of our story. It makes us who we are, gritty, caring, and passionate, keepers of a unique legacy and history, and stewards of what is unquestionably a very special future. This season marks 85 years of stories, events, and the love for our mountains.
Most of my favorite memories of this place are actively watching someone else fall in love with this place that I fell in love with so long ago, and watching the moment that watching other people's light bulb moment. You know, it happens organically for everyone, but everyone who becomes a part of the community here and decides to stay, I think, has that moment. And it might not be riding a crazy line down Cowboy or hiking out towards Rooster or riding perfect corduroy. Like, it might be an interaction with another employee or a guest. It might be talking to someone who's been here for decades and understanding their experience and relating it to your own. But I think this place really inspires people to stay.
I think there's a genuine friendliness here. I think there's a genuine deal where people like to come here, and they've been here for so many years, and they grew up skiing here. Their dad grew up skiing here. Their dad's dad grew up skiing here.
For a long time, there really wasn't any work in Leavenworth in the winter. A lot of people were in construction or logging or fruit industry or whatever. So a lot of orchardists worked up here, and there's a lot of construction guys. And from both sides, Skykomish too.
Before the community of Stevens Pass existed, this area of the Cascades was only occupied by the forests, mountains, and wild animals, until John F. Stevens, a surveyor for the Great Northern Railway, set out on a mission to find a pass through the wilderness. And he did it. The journey to make this area accessible started in late 1893 when the first train crossed Stevens Pass, followed by the first car arriving at the summit in 1923. The steep canyons and rugged terrain became passable, and the landscape ignited a dream to build the ski area we now call home. Stevens Pass, as we now know it, started with a single rope tow in 1937. Led by Don Adams and Bruce Kerr, they had a Ford V8 engine, $600 in materials, and a dream to create a shared experience in these mountains. But simply arriving at Stevens Pass wasn't easy. It took 3 hours by car or bus, plus a 6-mile hike if coming up from the west. These grassroots origins explain so much of who we are today. Bruce and his wife, Virginia, or better known as Ginny, built their lives around the mountain, quite literally. In the beginning, the engine for the rope tow was in the main room of their house. While Bruce developed the infrastructure, Ginny managed the ticket booth and accounting, and she led a strong female presence, something that continues to this day. By the end of the 1950s, 47 surface lifts were spread across Big Chief and Cowboy Mountain, all maintained by elbow grease and tenacity. Bruce and Ginny's final contribution to Stevens Pass was installing the beginner triple chair named Daisy. They lived and skied at the pass throughout their 60s before selling the ski area to Harbor Properties in 1977, when growth took hold as the mountain gained 10 high-speed double, triple, and quad lifts, and it ventured along its journey of modernization, captained by Stimson Bullitt and Russ Cole. By 1979, the general manager at the time, Merle Brooks, was adamant that Stevens Pass should be operated as a day-use ski area at maximum capacity. This led to a new master plan, and operations expanded into Mill Valley. By 1988, Stevens Pass had 400 acres of terrain that included 10 new runs, and the Stevens Pass Nordic Center came along in 1992.
We're going to take you now on a tour of Snow Country, Stevens Pass.
Im Wald, da draußen ist schön, so herrlich und so fein. Da draußen möchte ich wohnen, da draußen möchte ich sein. Da habe ich das ganze Jahr eine herrliche Ruhe. Die Vögel, die singen so dazu. Ein fesches Lohnband, ein Stutzel in der Hand, wohl immer schussbereit, zu jeder Sicherheit. Da gehen wir auf die Birsch und jagen Reh und Hirsch. Da geht der Nickelschuss, das ist ein Hochgenuss. Aber Leute, kann's was Schöneres geben, als wir das freie Jager.
That's Big Chief Mountain, the ski patrol area, ski school chalets, familiar sight, the ticket office at Stevens, with Barrier Mountain up in the background. And some days, after a heavy overnight fall, there's just lots and lots of digging out to do.
Die rund das Echo widerhallen, wo lieber Wälder, wo lieber Felder, Ali hallo, der Jägerspür ist da.
At the top of the big chair, under the shadow of Barrier Mountain, snow piles up, 20 to 30 feet of it. So much snow means work for ski patrolmen doing snow analysis. In the early spring, samples from each level of snow give Forest Service experts the knowledge they need for avalanche control. Each level represents also powder snow on some exciting day of the winter's pass.
I've been here for 15 seasons. This will be the start of my 16th season, and I've been a patroller the whole time I've been here. And then this is Bailey. She's one of our avalanche rescue dogs and is already bored with our interview. I came in as green to patrolling as you can possibly come into it, and the team here is so committed to getting new folks trained up and really helping them feel connected to this resort, to this place. And it's really this team that turned me into the patroller that I've become. And it's because of this team here that I've stayed. And not just the patrol team, but Stevens Pass and the community here is just really amazing.
You know, I mean, I think there's a bond, you know, working in high stress environments. And although every day at work isn't that, there's that times where there are some high stress situations. And there's a natural bond that comes with that of working with folks through those situations.
I know how special patrolling has been for me. And if other patrollers even get a fraction of that out of their time here, then I'm proud to be a part of that. Sometimes I feel like I should be contributing to society in a more meaningful way. But then recreation is so meaningful. This is how I've found meaning in my entire adult life. It's what I've chosen to do for work, It's what I choose to do in my own time. And with the amount of personal joy and fulfillment that I find out of recreation, I do feel like we are able to contribute because we get to provide that for the people around us. And if providing that makes or helps our guests and our community be better as a result of having the opportunity to recreate, then yeah, we are making a contribution. And that's what I hope I'm doing.
The lifts used to stop spinning when the snow melted in the spring, but the continued progression of the resort's master plan included summer operations, and after a few years of setbacks, the resort's mountain bike park took shape in 2005.
I used to stand around a lot and look and say, God, what could we do in the summer?
Well, what started it was Joel Martinez and Chris Rudolph. They had a vision. They wanted to start Washington's first bike park. And so they spent many years working their ways through that, got the approval, and then we built Bike Park. It's a dirty, dusty, hard job to do to build those trails. And our mountain is all rock with a little bit of dirt around it. So it's been a challenge that way, but we're Stevens Pass and that's what we do. We get through things and we work hard and we get things accomplished.
After 35 years of ownership, Harbor Properties sold Stevens Pass. The resort changed hands twice more in 2011 and 2016 before it was sold to Vail Resorts in 2018. Even throughout times of transition and what seemed to be uncertainty, one thing remained: love, commitment, and unending passion for this beautiful place and for the many who feel a sense of deep pride to ensure its future.
The first guy I worked at the ski area for told me, he said, Steve, you know how to make a small fortune? I said, no. And he says, take a large fortune and buy a ski area. I went, huh. And over the years, I see where that's kind of true. People work in the ski areas, they kind of have the same type of feeling. You know, I don't know what it is. It's, you know, you don't mind getting that cold. You don't mind the bad weather and that sort of thing, and you stay at it for years. And some people can't take it, but boy, there are a lot of people that I've got, well, you know, almost 45 years in it or maybe more, and some people have the same thing, you know, and they just, you like it, you love it. It gets in your blood, so to speak. And it's a fun deal. I tell people I don't have much money, but by God, I've had a lot of fun. It's one of the jobs where you really look forward to going to work every day. You didn't hate your job. If you're having fun, you're the best skier on the mountain, as far as I'm concerned.
All of us who choose to stay here and become part of the community, you sort of become like a steward of the area. You know, the interactions that you have with those new people who you're trying to inspire that light bulb moment with.
My goal for me is I want to build people that are passionate, that want to be here, want to come to work at Stevens Pass, be part, you know, of what I've experienced. I mean, I was only going to be here for a couple of years in my mind when I first started, and then I got to meet everybody and I got to meet the community and I got to do all that, and the love of the place just kept growing on me and growing on me and growing on me. I mean, the first year it rained nonstop. Then it would snow, then it would rain. I'm like, wow, why am I here? It's raining so much, right? The second year it just started to snow and I was like, oh wow, okay, now I get it. And so it just kept growing on me and growing on me, and I just wanted to be here. So I want to share that passion with the younger generation that's just now starting to come up through the ranks to see how amazing it is to work at a ski resort. And Stevens Pass is just special that way. It's beautiful here. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere. We're kind of on our own a little bit. And just to be such an amazing place. And the community and the people that work here are just amazing too. That's what keeps me coming here.
The resilience of the building is a true testament of the employees working on those buildings. Along with our regular operations, then we also are dealing with the outside elements. And it sounds crazy, but at the same time, it's a little exciting too.
The mountain's location, the unique challenges that we face in keeping the mountain open because of our location, because of how things operate here. The people who survive and thrive here are all like doers and givers.
Family is the core foundation to Stevens Pass. It has always been part of the mountain's DNA. Whether it's the team who works here and supports one another, those with generational ties, or those who experience the thrill of this special place for the first time, it's a mountain built on community and maintained by a commitment to growing together.
I mean, this kid skis circles around me now, and I can barely keep up with her and her dad down the hill. Racing in particular has taught a level of discipline and drive and determination. It's an individual sport for sure, but also at the same time, you can't achieve what they do without being a team. It brings about a level of camaraderie.
Some of my best friends are on my ski team and I hang out with in the RV lot. I know that on Fridays when I get done with school, all I want to do is get up here. That way I can go hang out with them and go skiing.
As a family, skiing has made us travel around the world. It's obviously determined where we've moved and where we are raising our daughter. The influence that this resort and this experience has on our family is at a level I don't even know if you can put it into words. Pretty amazing.
It's true. Oh, that's true. Like Meg said, we've been all over the world skiing, and we keep coming back to here. This place is amazing, and she gets to spend time here in the RV lot, wake up every single morning to listen to bomb blasts, and then you know it's going to be a really good day, and you're sitting there having a cup of coffee and waiting for opening the lifts, and it's a feeling that's very hard to describe to somebody that doesn't ski, and to be able to pass that on to your kids is. I mean, it's amazing. It's something that I'm so excited that she gets to experience the same thing, and it's one of those sports you can do almost forever. Yeah, it's just an amazing lifestyle.
We've built our lifestyle around being up here full time. You know, I'm a permanent seasonal with the federal government as a firefighter, and I chose that path of not moving up there so we could maintain our seasonal lifestyle. And it was hard, you know, it's hard with a big family to do that, but you know, I think it's paid off. I think it's gotten to what we wanted for our children, is to grow up in the hills and to have this be their life.
Central Cascades are just a magical place. And it is a rowdy little mountain. You can, I think if you can ski here, you can ski anywhere. It really is true.
Having up my family up here and watching them learn to ski and snowboard and be part of it, learn how to mountain bike, be part of all the mountain bike community. Just watching my boys grow up from a year old all the way to 14 and watching them go from the beginner area all the way up to riding Cowboy Mountain now, right? And hitting terrain parks and doing all that. I think to me that's the most amazing thing. Learning how to snowboard is obviously not the easiest thing to do. You fall down a lot and all that stuff. So learning to keep battling through your problems and the issues that you have, and to get better at things and want to get better at things. I think getting them out in nature and understanding how they can affect nature and just the relationships that they've built with people over the years. I mean, I have employees here that used to work for me that are now managers, and they see my kids come up and they're like, wow, it's crazy. I remember when they was, you know, a year old or 5 years old, and now they're there. So they've created great relationships that way with the community also.
It's really, really cool to be connected with people through skiing and snowboarding, because it's like this activity you can do with them forever, you know, as long as they're doing it. And it's just a pretty rad thing to share with other people. And some of my friends who I met when I first came here, they may not be here anymore, but when they come back to visit, it's like nothing changed.
Everything's just right. The snow's right, the conditions are right, the people I'm with, and my mood, like those things all like coalesce into this moment where you feel like you are tapped in to everything around you. Like you can feel the trees moving and the snow falling, and it all is all in sync. Like everything is this harmonious moment that builds and swells like orchestra strings. For anybody who hasn't experienced it, it feels like enlightenment or nirvana or like divinity. Any of those things that we strive towards as human beings, that's what that feels like. And that's why snowboarding is so important to me. It's everything.
Through challenges both big and small, Stevens Pass has persevered. As the mountain and the community step foot into a new chapter, the heartbeat of what makes Stevens Pass what it is continues to drum on. Now it's being led by a woman whose passion for the outdoors, this place, and its people takes center stage 85 years after Ginny Care's leadership took root here. In summer 2022, Ellen Galbraith accepted the role of general manager, and with more than 18 years of experience in the ski industry, she's found a home here.
A sense that I had very early was everyone who is here wants to be here. And to work in an environment where that is the case is a privilege. And for me, I love working around people who like to live that way, whatever it is that you're passionate about.
Keeping the passion alive with energy every day is like something that I strive for. This is such a special place, and I just try to project that every single day. Whether it's like, hey, maybe I'm like tired today or having a bad day or whatever, you know, like you can't be 100% every day. But the way that I was inspired as such a young kid and coming up here, every day I try to drive that. It's kind of like a side goal that I have is just, hey, how can I like keep the stoke alive every single season?
Stevens Pass has expanded and changed over the years, but the sense of community remains the same. Our special brand of passion is what drives us. It's what gives us a kind of magic that just can't be found anywhere else. We celebrate our history every time we step foot on the summit, and we're also preparing for the future, passing this haven of adventure and beauty on to the many generations to come. It's not just children learning their way around the mountain as the next generation in a family of skiers and snowboarders, but adults who discover their love for the outdoors for the first time on our mountain. We're a collection of people with different abilities, backgrounds, ethnicities, and languages. A place to learn, to grow, to seek solace, or make friends. As we continue to share our rich history with those who are deeply ingrained in our mountain and its culture, we will always have our arms wide open to anyone who wants to be part of our story. That's the beauty of Stevens Pass. We are welcoming, we are for everyone. We embrace differences and unite on common ground, a love of the outdoors and the true majesty of the Cascades. We are grateful for every challenge, every beautiful moment, every second of growth. And we know the next 85 years will bring even more of these experiences as we continue to call Stevens Pass home.
That's why I think that Stevens makes it 85 years because of the community.
I don't think I ever could have imagined that I could have this much fun and this much challenge and growth and opportunity following a passion that's kept me in the mountains.
Stevens Pass is always going to be Stevens Pass. The people are what makes Stevens Pass.
It's a fun deal, and it's up to each person, I think, to make their own fun out of it, you know? It's all what you make of it.
Stevens Pass gives those of us who always felt out of step everywhere else a place to belong. We build our own family up here. The constant in my life has been like knowing that I have a place where I belong, and that's here at Stevens Pass.
Well, that's a look at some of the terrain at Stevens Pass. So when you're looking for snow of the dry powder variety and the clouds begin to swirl around the North Cascades, head for snow country and let's go skiing at Stevens Pass.
Die Häuschen immer aus, die Los, an Herren tut man aus.